Hello everyone, welcome to Gardening TLC. We've had heat, we've had rain, we've had thunderstorms, we've had wind like mad, and we've had humidity. But in the month of June, the gardens have really put on some growth. We're gonna take a tour today, check it out, see what looks great, see kind of what got battered down from some of the storms that we just had this last week. But all in all, I think the gardens look fabulous. So we're gonna go around, check them out, come with me, let's go. Michelle, and I live in Northern Illinois, Zone 5. I've been gardening my whole life, and it is truly a passion. I love to do it, and I love to share what I know with you guys. I don't have a formal degree or anything like that. I just love to garden, and I've learned a lot of things through my whole life of gardening. I am a retired landscape designer. I did that for years and years and years. I don't want to say retired. I'm semi-retired, because if you watch this channel long enough, you'll see me go out in the community and do some designs and put some stuff in. In fact, we'll be doing that in our next video. But today, we're going to tour my gardens. They are anywhere from going into their 7th year to going into their very first year to being brand spanking new. So we have a big gamut of ages of different plants and different aged gardens. So you're going to be able to see a lot of different things in the garden. Hopefully this will inspire you, teach you, and you are going to want to run out, get a shovel, and go plant something in your own garden. To give you a little perception of what it is that we're looking at, most of the garden beds surround the house. I do own a 2-acre lot here. I have a line of trees that separates my property from the property next door. Then we go to this road right here. That's kind of a busy road. And then I have another 1-acre lot that just has 2 trees on it, but other than that, it's just grass. When you get to the big long grass on the other side, that is the neighbor's property. Then if you swing around this way, I've got a line of trees that goes from one end of my property all the way to the other, and that also separates my property from the property next door. So there you go. Now most of the garden beds that we have surround the house and my big red shed that you can see out there. So let's start with this one right here. This is my driveway bed, real original name, but that's what we call it. Now this is a bed that I probably will be redesigning next year. I do like this bed, but I find that it's very green. It's got a lot of the same textured foliage in it. And I find that I want to add some blue and some red or purple foliage into this bed to kind of spice it up a little bit. Now I do have some things that I'm going to be cutting back in this bed because it's time. And I want to get the garden chronicled before I do all the cutbacks. Sometimes people are afraid to cut things back in their garden, but sometimes doing that is the very best thing you can do in your garden. So we'll be doing that and then showing you the progress as they grow back so that you are not a chicken to cut things back in your bed. But let's take a look at what's in here. A lot has changed in this bed as far as what's in it from the last video. We have a sunset Monet Wogelia that was blooming absolutely beautifully. It does have this beautiful variegated foliage on it. I really like this shrub, but we will be cutting this shrub back by 1/3 so that it can have some new fresh growth on it and to kind of control the size a little bit. You can see our liatris here are blooming. Aren't those gorgeous? This is the cobalt variety, and they get these beautiful purple spikes on them. They probably bloom for about 2 weeks. They don't have a crazy long bloom time on them, but when they're blooming, they're fabulous. Down here we have some alliums, and they have budded up. They won't bloom for probably another month, but they're all budded up and they're looking great. I did throw some gomphrena in the ground. We'll see if those bulk up. We've got a Jane Magnolia right here, surrounded at the base by some tall stone crop, and those are a fall bloomer. So some things that bloom in and out, but I want some different colored foliage. Now, one of the things that I'm really seriously thinking about changing in here are the daylilies. I have 3 different kinds of daylilies in here, and again, they are also all budded up. You can see all of these buds on here. There's hundreds of daylilies in here. I have the Pardon Me's, I have Strawberry Candy, and I can't remember the other one, but there's 3 different ones in here, and you can see the Strawberry Candy is starting. Oh, Rosy Returns, that's the other one. But the Strawberry Candy, see, it's already starting to bloom. All of them are repeat bloomers, but they aren't spectacular at that. They don't look like great. In the very front of that, I have Black-Eyed Susans that I have to constantly keep watered because they dry out here so fast on the edge of the driveway. So they aren't exactly happy there unless I'm constantly watering them. And that's not something that I want to mess with. So I'm probably going to change out the front of this border next year. I probably won't do it this year. I've got too many projects already in the works that I want to button up and finish. But this is definitely something that when I go through and I look at gardens, I want to look at those things you know, and go, what do I like? What don't I like? Now, a lot of you are going, I thought you said you were a landscape designer. Well, I am. The reality is, though, when you garden at home, it's different than when you do it for somebody as a project, because most people, they don't want to garden. They just want you to do something beautiful that has low maintenance, or they want to hire somebody to maintain it for them. There's very few people that I've ever done a landscape design for, or they are actually going to be the one out doing the gardening in their gardens. So it's a little bit different. So the last time I was in here, I did not know the names of these hostas. I have since figured it out. All right, now we did know that this one was a Francis William. This is a big leaf hosta. I do like it. It does have some slug damage on it though. We've had so much rain that the bait that I've been putting out is not doing its job because we've had too much rain. So hopefully now I can put some more bait out and control the earwigs and the slugs. I also have, oh my God, these things make me crazy. These are box elder bugs. Look at this, you guys. It's like an army. Look at all of these on here. Oh, makes me crazy. All right, now I did identify this one. It's called Stained Glass. It is a very nice, bright hosta in the garden. And then this one here, this one is called Great Expectations. This isn't a very big hosta, but I do like the color of the leaves in there. So that one's really pretty. So I did get those three identified. I still don't know what this little one is here. It's full grown, but I don't know what it is. We've got the Autumn Frost from Proven Winter hostas here, and then I have a Coast to Coast right there. So I did get most of them identified. If we swing over this way, you can see our Little Lime Fruit Punch are starting to flower up, and then our boxwoods still are not pruned, and now it's too hot to do it. I swear I miss the window every year. I just need to like have one of my guys come over and do it, because I keep saying I'm going to do it and then I don't get it done. All right, so there you go. That's the driveway bed. Here are my pots that are flanking the entrance to the sidewalk bed. We did these back in April when we had Nature's Willow sponsor a video, and I dedicated the pots to Michelle out there. And a lot of the things that are in these pots mimic what's in the Nature's Willow pain relief cream. And so we have the Peachy Keen Verbena by Proven Winners. We've got the Saffron Finch Petunias. I've got some Creeping Jenny in there, also Helichrysum, Pinto White Geraniums. And then the centerpiece was our Spiral Eucalyptus and our Curly Willow. So I like how these look. I love the feminine pastel-y colors in them. I wish they were getting more sun so they would have more flowers, but I still like how they look. So that's the entrance coming into the garden. And look, here we go. First, when you come around the corner, these beautiful oak leaf hydrangeas. Look at how big these leaves are. Oh my goodness. Love this shrub. Taking a look at the bed and just going down the line, you can see that the impatiens are starting to bulk up a little bit. You're starting to see them in their low Sedona bowls. I've got some beautiful blooms on the Incredible. I just love that shrub as well. And for the first time, we got flowers on the second oak leaf hydrangea going into year 4. It took 3 years. No, it's going into year 4. And it didn't have any flowers on it the first 3 years. So it took it a little bit before it decided to produce those for us. As you can see here, we've got the beautiful impatiens in the low Sedona bowls. Those are bulking up just nice. We've got the Winter Gem Boxwoods in here. Here is our Incredible by Proven Winners. It doesn't get as big as it would if it was in full sun or even more morning sun, but I still love the way it looks. Our planter over here is doing really well. We've got the begonia in there called Gryphaeon. Our Patriot Hosta with our 2 new Jack of Diamonds Brunnera in here. And as you can see here, they're starting to bulk up a little bit. They won't get like that much bigger until next year. But look at the blooms on this oak leaf hydrangea. Isn't that just gorgeous? This is what I get to look out the window at when I'm at the kitchen sink. Now I will do some shaping on this. I try to keep it managed in size. So after it's done blooming, I will do a little bit of clipping on it. This blooms on old wood, so you don't necessarily want to ever prune like it to the ground, because if you do, you'll sacrifice all your flowers for a whole entire year while you're waiting for it to grow back. And it can take, again, up to 2 years before you'll see flowers again. I love the boxwoods. They're about due for a prune though. I kind of want them to stay this size. I don't want them to get much bigger, and so if I prune them just a little bit, I can hopefully maintain this size. We've got our coleus in here starting to bulk up as well. This is the Pineapple Brandy coleus from Proven Winners, and then we planted that with a 4-pack of the Salmon Impatiens. I think that looks so good. I love it. Looking back down the sidewalk, looks nice. And back around this way, here we have our mountain or our serrata hydrangea, and it's just now starting to get a few flowers on it. I see some other buds starting to start, but here is one of the flowers. And then we've got our citronella coral bells with our Palace purple. Here's the new Duravilla that we just planted here, and our Paris heuchera that we put in here, along with another Palace purple. So nice. Now I did end up moving my little low Sedona bowls that I just brought home because they were looking like one big blob over here. I had all three of them right here, so I picked two of them up and I moved them over here onto the steps. And then these were the pots that I did the salmon geraniums with the blue lobelia. So I lost all the lobelia except for, see, I have a little bit. There's one right there. And there's another one kind of struggling back here. And this is the one, the bigger pot, that has a few more on it. But they're not doing as well as I thought. And I'm not in love with the geraniums either. Maybe I just don't get enough sun here, because I thought there'd be more geraniums. And I feel like they aren't producing as well as they should, even though I'm feeding them. So we're going to keep an eye on those. I don't know if I'll do this combination again. I did end up putting a dwarf marguerite ipomea or potato vine in here to kind of bulk it up a little bit. I put one in each one. So we'll see how that does. Let's finish looking at our pots. Here's our Calabricoa baskets. These are looking exceptionally pretty. I love the three colors together. I just think that they are so sweet. And then we've got our big Sedona bowl with our dark purple petunias, our saffron finch. We've got the Bordeaux, and then some of the Snow Princess alyssum, along with a Cleopatra cypress in the middle. So I just love this bowl. It's really bulking up nicely, and no one petunia is taking over. Now, everything in this bowl was from Proven Winners except for the papyrus right here. That's just a Cleopatra. I didn't choose any vistas because I wanted them to play nice together and blend in the bowl well, and I think they're doing just that. This is another place that I like to sit. This is where I like to have coffee in the morning. So I have a couple places that I really like to sit, and I want to make sure my view is totally awesome. Oh, what is that? Check those out. Do you remember when we made the willow orbs? Well, I made the willow orb and I stuffed it with those beautiful spring plants. Well, those finished, and then I emptied it out, and then I decided I had to have another one, and so I made a bigger one. I did not stuff that one. I like the look of that one just the way it is. And then we hung them from the tree. So I get to look at this when I am sitting here having coffee, and I have a lure in here. So I planted fuchsia, and hummingbirds love fuchsia. So I'm hoping to lure the hummingbirds, which we already have, over here to my planter so that when I'm sitting there, they'll be really super close. So I filled this with 2 fuchsias. I've got some impatiens. I also put some vinca vine in here, some Algerian ivy. I have some asparagus ferns, some impatiens. So I just kind of packed it out with just some different textures and greens. And the fuchsia is my lure. Isn't that great? I love these. And then I will use these in winter, and I'm going to put lights on them. I'm going to still hang them here, put greens in them, light them up. Ooh, it'll be so cool. I love it. Here's our mini-me watermelon that looks really nice in the bowl. I just think that this is the sweetest little coleus that is also from Proven Winners. And then if we come down this way, you can see we've got our lemony lace elderberry doing really well. It's reverted more to green. Earlier in the season, it was this beautiful chartreuse, but it still looks pretty beautiful, and I really like it. We ended up adding some blue ivory hostas down here, so those are brand new. I just put those in maybe a month ago. I also have the salmon impatiens going down the embankment. And then when we did our dividing perennials, I had 3 astilbes that I moved. I didn't cut them back. I took a chance, put them in the ground whole, and it paid off. I watered them like every day for like, I don't know, 3 weeks every day. And look at how gorgeous those flower panicles are on there. And they're just now starting to color up. They'll get more pink as they get older, but looking really good next to this Mohican viburnum. We come down the hill here, and I also have a little hosta that I transplanted here, along with hostas from last year that we transplanted. So I'm going to go around, and as I identify the hostas, I'll start putting tags on them so that I remember what they are, because some of these I just don't know what they are. But I think this is filling in really nice here. This is one of the beds that we want to button up this year. I am going to be planting some more perennials in here and a couple more shrubs. I don't really have a design for this, but in my head, I kind of know what it is that I want to do. You can see here that our, I think it's called I can't say it. It's a bug bane, but I have 2 of them right here that are doing really well next to Hakanakloa grass. And look, here is our wee white hydrangea that's starting to get blooms on it. So pretty. And then our herb garden is starting to really fill in up here. So that's looking really good. And see, we need to do a cut back on the Nepeta and the Salvia. And so we'll get that done here in the next week. These are our knockout roses. They are due to be cut back as well. They're done blooming and they'll cycle into a new flush of blooms. If I don't want to cut them back, I don't have to, but I do. It just makes them bloom faster and makes them look nicer. So I do that. As you can see here, this Veronica is kind of wussy. This was the Royal Rembrandt, and there were 5 of them. Only 3 of them came back, and they didn't come back that great. I'm not impressed. Let's put it that way. Because here are the Royal Candles. They were put in a week in front of the Rembrandts, and look at them. They're doing great. Now, I did plant 1 bloom chocolata here to see if I liked it. I don't know if I'm in love with it or not. It's only, you know, in its 2nd year, so I'll probably give it 1 more year and see if I like it. I had roseanne geraniums, and those went crazy. So I wanted to see what this one would do before I committed. I do have a Bobo hydrangea here that is starting to bud up. Bobos are one of the later hydrangeas to bloom. And you'll find that though when it does bloom, oh my goodness, it gets flowers on it from tip to bottom. I mean, full. Again, here's another knockout that just needs to be pruned up. And then we've got some alliums here. Now I did add to this garden. I didn't do a video because I just planted, you know, 12 plants. So I didn't like do a video planting 12 plants. But I did plant this Echinopsis, is I think how you say it. It's a blue globe thistle. And these will get blue. Isn't that cool looking? Everybody's like, is that a weed? And I'm like, no, it's not a weed. And then somebody suggested that I put Heliopsis here. So I did. And I put the Summer Gold in here. So nothing's bulked up yet, but it will. And this whole area right here will fill in with these beautiful perennials. And then here's my alliums. And you can see again, I don't know what it is about this allium. Look at this. Oh my God. That's insane. Look at the bugs. Look at that. Oh, it's insane how many of them are in there. Loving the Hosta garden. This is one of my next projects that I want to do is go in and identify pretty much every Hosta in here. I know what some of them are, but I don't know all of them. So I know that that is a June Hosta. I do know that that is a stained glass. But like this one back here, I'm not quite sure what that one is. I think that's a Patriot, but it could be a Minuteman. So I want to get in here and get these all identified so that I can share that knowledge with you. A few of them I do know, but I don't know all of them. So I did at one time. I have tags on every one of these. Now I know this is a Blue Angel. Isn't that gorgeous? Look how big that is. It's just, oh, love it. All right, then you come around this way. We got our Brunnera in here. A big Sum and Substance right here. That's one that I split last year. And so it's not as big as it was, but it will be. Come around this way. We did plant some of our new items in here after we did our dividing and transplanting. I got the Virginia in here. Right here you can see them. They are so sweet and pretty. And I've got a row of them right here as well. I did get our little Blue Star junipers put in here so that we have a nice pretty blue element. And I added the Lady's Mantle. So these were the existing Lady's Mantle, and then I added all of these that are looking pretty rough. But what I'll end up doing, I'll cut them back. And then I'll keep them watered, and they'll look great. I got the Norway spruces in back here, and then I just have to finish putting in everything else from the design. I'm really liking the way this corner looks. I ended up leaving all of the hostas that were here. I didn't pull any of them out. We have the big Sub and Substance right here. I don't know the name of this one. It's one of the ones I want to identify. But I do have this really pretty blue cadet back behind it, along with that lemony lace elderberry. Now, again, that lemony lace elderberry, when it was earlier in the season, you watched the last video, it's this beautiful chartreuse color. Because it's not getting as much sun as it probably should, it's really reverted to green, but I still love the way it looks, the airiness of it, the structure of the leaves. I just think it's so beautiful, and it does kind of hide my air conditioner there. I added this Diravilla here. This is a Kodiak Black. It just finished blooming its little yellow honeysuckle flowers on it. I love the two-tone color on these leaves. I just think this is so pretty right here. and it gets kind of an orange and a red hue to it going into fall. It will get 4x4 when it's all said and done, so it will fill up this area in a couple years. I just gotta wait for it to grow up. But I'm loving the way this little corner, just right here, it just looks so nice. And then we tucked in that lamium to grow in between. We're gonna move on from that and just kind of come around here real fast into the upper section of the raised wall. I do have another oak leaf hydrangea here that for the first time, yay, look, it's blooming. So these have flowers on them for the first time. And then again, this is another one of those hostas. I don't know what it is, but man, is it gorgeous. I love it. Look how big these leaves are. They're giant. So this is one of the earlier ones that comes up in the year as well. So I have one on either side of this oak leaf hydrangea, and I just think it looks great. See, this is kind of the view if you're standing on the deck and you're looking down the steps to the pathway. This is kind of what you see. So you can see some holes here. I did plant 2 lupins down here, and I do need to put a 3rd grass in here. And then as I'm looking through here, I know that I need some height to run through here. Once I cut these back, they will regrow and they will reflush a new set of flowers. They won't be as big, they'll be smaller, and they'll actually look better. Then you'll be able to see the next layer down. And if we come down here, see, that's going to be the yellow heliopsis with the blue globe thistles. Then I need something right here, and I think I'm going to go dig some loosestrife. I have this beautiful tall pink loosestrife in my back field. You can't buy it or sell it here in Illinois, but it's already growing on my property, so I can move it as long as I don't put it into a waterway, because in a waterway it can be invasive. But if I swing around here, I also think I've got opportunity for something here that could be like a little bitty pine tree or something to fill in that area, so I've got some winter interest down here. Because I also think down here I moved those 2 coral bells that were burning up, and I think I've got room for some evergreen room or evergreen interest right here too. Because there's nothing, if you think about it, there's nothing here in the winter. So I need to up my game. But here's my herb garden looking down this way. My 2 raised beds are doing pretty good. We do have, oh my goodness, what is this? Okay, I remember, nasturtiums. So I do have nasturtiums here. The flowers and the leaves are all edible. And then we have a zucchini plant right here. See, it's got flowers on it. It's got little zucchinis in here. That's doing well. We did tuck 3 geraniums in here that we didn't have room in the garden. So they're actually doing okay in here. This one is a salmon. Isn't that pretty? And then the next one, we did the little patty pan squash in here. And these are bush squashes. Here's my little patty pan. Isn't it cute? So these are really healthy, doing really well. Our strawberries and our greenscape doing pretty good too. All right, let's go out and look at the cottage garden and check it out. All right. I do have a black lace elderberry here that when I do my cutback, that is going to be part of it. So this thing is going to be cut down quite severely, and then we'll have fresh new growth on it once it recovers from me cutting it back. All right, here's the cottage garden, you guys, looking really good. I'm really happy with the progress of this. This is going into its 2nd year. My 360 in here. I love this garden. I think it's just turning out exactly how I envisioned it. And we're just going to keep adding things to it every year. I don't want to go too fast because I don't want to move a bunch of stuff around if it doesn't like work out where I put it. I want to give things time to get full grown before I put something else in. That's why you see the pockets of annuals and different things like that as we're going through, because I want to make sure that I don't overcrowd it. Loving this. Oh, just loving it. Here we are leaving the cottage garden, moving into the next bed that's around the corner. This bed has been here the longest, but it's also a bed that I totally reinvented last year. It was overgrown. It had too much stuff in it. We pulled a bunch of it out. Oh, look, here it is. We cut it back, set the root balls down, covered it with compost, and kind of made a holding bed for it right here. So now everything is just sitting here waiting for me to figure out what to do with it. And it's totally fine right here, and it can stay there until I figure it out. But I redid this bed, and I'm loving this bed now that there's less in it. Now I do have this beautiful solar flare baptisia right here that just finished blooming. I will be cutting this back because right now it's just too big for the bed, but I love it when it's in bloom. So I'm not getting rid of it or digging it out. I'm just going to cut it back, and you'll see it will reflush new growth and look smaller. Now stay tuned for that video, because if you've ever been afraid to cut things back, this will be the video for you. It'll probably come out in about a month, so watch for that, because I'm going to cut everything back and then I'll show you the progress as it grows back. so that you're not chicken to cut things back. All right, in here we've put annuals in this side. We didn't add anything, we just took a whole bunch of stuff out. We are just going to put annuals this year, let those fill in and be beautiful until I decide what, if anything, I want to do on this side of the bed. This is the side of the bed where we actually redid the bed to the design that we did back in December. We've got our beautiful coreopsis here. This is the Zagreb blooming. Look at our little turtles in there. Isn't that great? I love that. We've got our Coronation Gold yarrow behind that, our new spireas over here along with our bird nest spruce. I did a little planting around the bird bath, and then we've got our Veronica with our low Sedona bowl. Just liking how this side is looking. And again, it all has to fill back in. That'll take some time. I feel like I can breathe when I sit here and look at this garden. I love this garden again. I didn't like it at the end of last year when it became this overgrown nightmare because I was just plopping things in the garden as I was digging things out that were overgrown because they did bigger than the tag said. Instead, I took my time, did the design, and now I know I have things that are 2 different sizes, but the reality is they'll catch up, and then it's going to be exactly what I want. Now, I do need to prune these boxwoods. I have been saying I'm going to prune these boxwoods since last May. I have yet to prune them, but I will get on it once the temperature drops back into the 80s. Right now, it's just too hot to prune them. But you guys, check it out. That is my view when I sit on the porch now. I love it. Last, let's take a look at the pots that we did. Now, this big tall urn right here, I actually just put this here. It was around the corner, and as you can see, the only thing that's doing well is the potato vine. This is the Medusa from Proven Winners, and obviously it does well with more shade. That's why this pot looks the way it does. So we're gonna move it out here where it'll get more sun. We've been fertilizing it and watering it right along with all the rest of them, but as you can see, it doesn't have a lot of flowers. So here's my one flower on here. This is a Super Bell Tropical Sunrise. We do have the double moon glow osteospermum right here. That's what these are. And they don't look like doubles to me. They look like singles. This is the only one. There you go. That kind of looks like a double. This one is the pink lemonade, and then I've got the double yellow right here. But very sparse on the flowers on this one. So we're hoping it's just because I'm not giving enough light. This one here is also one that I'm like, what's going on? It's got the Jazzberry Vista Supertunia in here. It does have a Creeping Jenny that is kind of green, kind of chartreuse. It's weird. I've never seen one grow like that. I also have the Violet Night Alyssum, which doesn't have a lot of flowers on it, and the Helichrysum, which that one's not looking that great either. And I don't know what the deal is. It's wet. I don't know if this one's just not getting enough sun too. They're kind of underneath the eaves right here and they get a lot of morning sun, but I've planted these all here before and they've done well. So I'm not sure what's going on. I'll have to do a little research on that. Here we do have a fiber optic grass with the saffron finch from Proven Winners, along with the icicle helichrysum and the violet supervena. So this pot looks a little bit better, but none of them look as full as they should look for as long as they've been planted over here. Looks a little bit better. This one has the helichrysum also in the middle, the icicle right here, but see how it's not as silver as it should be? So I don't know what's going on with that. I do have the English ivy in here called Glacier. I've got the Blew My Mind Evoluus right in here, and I just watered it a little bit ago and the flowers all closed up on it. I don't know if that's what happens when you get the flowers wet, but that's what happened this time. I do have the Vista, the Mini Vista Pink Star from Proven Winners. That's actually looking pretty decent. And then again, we have that Violet Superbena in here. So this one looks a little bit better. But again, I wonder, are they getting, well, they're not getting overwatered because the foliage would be yellow. So I'm not sure. I'll just have to keep an eye on them. I have been feeding them, and it could just be a sun issue. So that wraps up the pots right there. As you can see, oh, I have a banana right here that I brought home. And then this is the little quick fire. Absolutely gorgeous. Love the flower structure on this thing. It is so beautiful. These are green when they're closed, white when they open. They turn mauve, then dark mauve. I love quick fires. It's probably my favorite hydrangea. All right, you guys, that's a wrap for the June garden tour. Stay tuned. We will be putting in some landscaping over the next couple weeks. One of them will be over at Tracy's house where we did the design along the long hot fence. We're also going to be doing the east side planting where we did it in front of that cottage looking house. I did my backyard and that one, 2-in-1 design. And that one is also going in, so stay tuned for that. We're also going to have a video on how to put edging in, brick edging. And we're going to do another video on cutting everything back and how you do that, and then the progression of what that looks like after you do that. So stay tuned for all of those. Don't forget, Garden Gab is the second Saturday of every month. If you want to send something that looks totally awesome in your garden right now, one picture, pick something that looks beautiful. Send me a landscape picture to the email address below, and I will share that during Garden Gab, second Saturday of every month. Also in July, we are adding a second Garden Gab that will be announced, the date when I'm getting ready to do that. Probably a couple weeks before that. I'll let you know when it's going to be, but it's going to be live. You'll have to bear with me on the first one though, because I've never done a live video. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to have a little partner with me who can read your questions and comments as we're doing the video. So I don't know how that's going to go, but we're going to try it and see if you guys like that format, if I like that format, and we'll kind of go from there. So you guys, I hope this inspired you to get out in your garden today. I'm Michelle. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.